Hello and welcome to Sensitive Changemakers, the podcast where we celebrate the power of sensitivity and introversion in leadership, entrepreneurship and beyond. I'm Kate Carter, your host, a certified professional coach, HSP and introvert who's passionate about helping you embrace your unique gifts and lead with authenticity. Let's dive in. Welcome to Sensitive Changemakers. I hope you are well. I hope this episode finds you well. I am very, very honoured to have another amazing guest. So I would love to welcome Alisha Kapani into Sensitive Changemakers today. She is a former chemical engineer turned mind-body mentor, and after struggling with severe depression for 5 years. She assists clients all over the world to tap into their body's wisdom to resolve illness and access their highest possibilities for vitality and abundance. Alisha, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween. We are recording this. I was just saying to Alicia before we got on that my daughter she's gone as Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunters. And so she's got like the purple pattern, she calls them, all over face and body. So I'm just using my face paint to kind of colour her in. So we're hoping we don't have too many trick-or-treaters. Anyway, I'm very, very excited for this conversation. And I would love to get started into your background and your kind of experiences, because you do quite talk openly about having depression. So what did that look like? How did it affect you? Just, let us in as much as you would like to.
Yeah. So I guess what it looked like was at first, I just noticed that I felt really down all the time and I didn't have a lot of energy and I didn't have the same motivation that I had before. Like I was like such a nerd. And so I was always studying, like 24/7, pretty much. Like when I'm not sleeping, I was studying. To get me to take a break was like hard, like I was just always studying. And then all of a sudden when I had depression, I would just be staring out the window. Like I had no energy, I had no motivation, I didn't care. And even when I was at work, I'd just be staring at my screen, not doing any work. Like I really didn't care about anything. And I was very sensitive. So like my boyfriend at the time, anything that he did would trigger me and upset me, and then I'd be in a bad mood unless things were good with us. And so the trigger was actually the relationship because like he had extreme anxiety. So I knew that if I made him anxious that he would leave me because it was really bad for him. Like he would throw up every time he felt anxious. So I knew like if I trigger him, he's going to leave me. So then I wouldn't ever tell him if I was upset, if I needed something, if something was bothering me. I would never ask for anything and I would try to pretend like, I'm happy all the time, And that led to me having depression because I'm a very sensitive person. And then I was suppressing everything I was feeling, even more than I was my entire life. Like my entire life, I was sensitive and probably suppressing what I was feeling, but now I was doing it to a whole different level. And so that triggered the depression. And for the first year, I didn't do anything about it because I didn't realize I had depression and I just thought it would go away. This was like when I was 22, so it was in my last semester of university. And so I thought it was because I was graduating soon and already had a job lined up and I already had, maybe I thought I just was lacking purpose in my life now. And that's why I'm feeling down. I'm not working towards anything anymore. I've kind of reached the end goal or whatever. So I thought maybe that was affecting my mood. And then I thought I had just started taking birth control. So I thought that was affecting my mood. So that's what it looked like at first. Like just that's how I was feeling. And I just like thought it would go away. And so I didn't do anything about it for like the first year.
Yeah, it's really interesting how you describe that. And I'd love to kind of pick a little bit about that in terms of being highly sensitive, in terms of being sensitive, because I love what you've said there in the fact that we suppress it, I think, just as sensitive beings anyway, because we know that feeling too much isn't acceptable in society. It's also very overwhelming on our own nervous system. And so we get used to suppressing things. And I love the fact that you've got that awareness that you saw that when you were kind of growing up, and then you saw it to a whole new level when you were in this relationship. What was the tipping point for you that you thought this has to change?
Yeah, so, after the year of distracting, then me and my boyfriend broke up. So now it was like worse because I already was feeling really shitty. And then I lost the only thing that was bringing me temporary joy. And so I just went to my doctor because I didn't know what else to do. I felt like that low. And then they put me on antidepressants, which didn't work for me. It was like I was taking a sugar pill.
Hmm.
So, tried that for a year, was seeing a psychologist, seeing a psychiatrist. That wasn't working. They kept like putting me on more medication, trying different ones, increasing the dosage, wasn't having any effect. I think because I'm so sensitive,
Hmm.
that's why like no amount of medication could suppress what I was feeling. It didn't matter what they did. And at this point, I probably didn't have a true interest in healing. I just wanted the pain to go away. So when you're asking when was the moment where I was like, I have to change this, like can't live like this anymore, it was probably after I had tried everything unconventional as well. So first I tried
Okay.
conventional for a year, then I tried unconventional things because I wasn't seeing any relief. So I was trying hypnosis, acupuncture, EMDR, EFT, all these types of things, and that wasn't working either. And so that's when I felt like a lot of desperation to heal. But I felt like I had tried everything and nothing was working. So then I contemplated suicide, which, for a lot of reasons I didn't go through with. And then I like gave up after that because I was like, I think I tried everything and I don't think anything works and I'm not going to take my life. So then I went back to like just managing, distracting, trying to stay busy with work. So that's how the whole process went. And then what actually led to the healing was that moment where I kind of gave up
Hmm.
was actually like a surrender. And so when I stopped trying desperately so hard to heal, trying a million things at once, trying to make my pain go away, there was this opening, there was this softening. And then that's when I found mind body medicine in the most synchronistic way. And it totally resonated with me. And then I took this DIY course on it and I healed right away after like 5 years of nothing working for me. So I've noticed that that feeling of like, I have to feel better, like I just want this pain to go away, like did not create any opening for me. It was only when I surrendered.
That's so interesting. I was having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and this came up in a different way, but it came up in the fact that we were talking about how, again, as sensitive people, and I think just as human beings, there is an element of control and body awareness, or sometimes called intuition, and it kind of just crashes. And like you were saying, I think when we get to a stage where nothing is working and we actually start to let go of the control,
Hmm.
things kind of come into the space and you're like, oh, okay. So it's so interesting that you've said that. I see that in so many kind of ways of playing out. So fascinating. So talk to us about what you found and how it works, because I find this fascinating. It's not something I'd heard about before. So yeah, share with us.
Yeah, so mind body medicine is essentially saying that like your mind and body are connected, so your thoughts and beliefs are affecting your physical health. And actually, if we go even deeper into this, into more of like quantum physics perspective,
Hmm.
your thoughts and beliefs and your emotions, your state of consciousness is creating your entire reality. So it's not just your physical health. But when I first started learning about it, that's all I really understood was that, okay, my thoughts are affecting my physical health. And there's something about my inner state that's creating this, and there's something that my body is trying to tell me and trying to get my attention and trying to show me like you're carrying these emotions and beliefs that aren't serving you, and when you dissolve those the illness will go away. Like that's essentially what mind body medicine is tuning into the body's wisdom, because it doesn't get sick for no reason. You get sick just to show you these things that you're carrying that are not serving you and not aligned with your natural state. So your natural state is love, joy, and peace. So you'll notice that when you dissolve like fear, shame, guilt, all these heavy emotions, that you naturally just feel more love, joy, and peace. You don't have to force it, it's just there. So that's why I started feeling better right away, because mind body medicine is all about welcoming your emotions instead of suppressing them, bringing more awareness to them, and that awareness is the medicine in itself. So as soon as I started to actually, welcome what I was feeling with compassion, loving presence, attention, curiosity, tuning into my body, like, what are you trying to tell me? Like, I'm listening. As soon as I started doing that, I started to heal right away. And that was something that I never tried before. Even though I was trying, quote, everything, I wasn't trying the one thing that was so simple that would have made all the difference.
Hmm. Yes. Oh, there's so many beautiful pieces there that I want to kind of just dig into. I think I love the fact that you're kind of talking about allowing emotions to come to the surface again. Like we were talking earlier, we're so used to suppressing them, we're so used to trying to control them. And I think that goes hand in hand with the kind of surrender side of things and allowing those kind of emotions to be felt and so that you can process them. Like you said, that awareness. I also love the fact that when you were talking there, toxic positivity almost wasn't supporting you, like just trying to stick a plaster on something and say, I'm fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. It was almost like this process that you went through allowed you to take the plaster off, allowed you to process things. Have I got that the right way
A
around?
100%. I would say that is one of the most common reasons I see someone not healing is because they're putting ice cream on top of poop, as I
Hmm.
call it, meaning trying to be positive when you actually feel really heavy and really dense. So this is a really common misconception because like people always say like, oh, you just need to shift your thoughts and then you'll heal your body and shift your reality. Like this is very common in like the new age spirituality space kind of thing. But so then people just try to be positive or like listen to affirmations and try to just look at the situation differently and like talk to themselves when they're upset. Like, oh, like there's no real threat here. Like, why am I even upset? Why am I even scared? And that's what a lot of people do, which I would say that's the masculine approach to healing. And then people are missing the feminine approach to healing, which is no, this is coming up and triggering you for a reason, not just to be pushed back down or for you to talk yourself out of it. Like, no, there's an emotion there, there's limiting beliefs there that had you even feel triggered in the first place, that we need to like permanently dissolve or remove the belief and pull and cancel it and replace it with a new one for you to actually be in a new state. And then that way you're not managing. I feel like most people are just managing, especially if they have depression or anxiety. They're managing it like, okay, every time I get upset, this is what works for me. I just talk to myself and then, I feel better. And then they always have to keep doing it over and over again for the rest of their life
Hmm.
versus mind body medicine and theta healing, which is another modality I use gets to the root cause so that you don't have to manage. You just don't think like that anymore and you just don't get triggered by those things anymore.
Hmm. And just so we can go into a little bit more detail there. So you were kind of talking about managing and healing, which I absolutely 100% agree. I think it's so acceptable, I think, in society to manage
Mhm.
rather than actually looking deeper and kind of looking at really what is going on and allowing that to be okay. And like you were saying earlier about that curiosity, so much more powerful than judgment, isn't it? It's just having that kind of, okay, what is really going on, what's affecting me. So when you're working with a client, I'd be really interested to know, how do you go deeper? What does that look like in a session with you?
Yeah. So I'm really sensitive. So I just kind of can feel like, so when the person's speaking to me, as soon as they say the thing that's keeping them in resistance, I feel it in my stomach. So then I immediately know, oh, this is the reason why you're not healing. It's because you're doing this, right? Sometimes I don't even need to hear them speak it. Sometimes when I just read their intake form, I can already feel what it is. But if I can't feel what it is immediately, then I might ask like a few questions
Hmm.
to figure out what it is, but it usually doesn't take me very long. And then once I figure out how they're in resistance, then we just use mind body tools to clear whatever their form of resistance is,
Yeah.
if
And
that makes
what
sense.
it absolutely makes sense. And what do those mind body tools look like? Can you just kind of go over a few of them?
Yeah, so my go-to mind body tool, like this is what I use all the time. This is what helped me heal from depression and physical illness and everything in my life. So I call it the ABC tool. So it's just three steps: awareness, breath, conscious choice. So awareness means essentially you need to feel what you're feeling more fully rather than less. So you need to bring more awareness to what you're feeling and experiencing. And so there's lots of different ways that you can do that, like if you're triggered, you're going to feel it somewhere in the body. Otherwise,
Hmm.
you're not triggered, right? So you feel some sort of discomfort somewhere. And so you need to bring awareness to where you feel it in your
Hmm.
body, first of all. And if you're not aware of where you feel it in the body, that's showing me that you're probably pretty numbed out or really in your mind. And so we need to intensify it. We need to amplify it, which which also isn't really that hard to do. If you're holding space for someone, you have compassion, you really understand them, it's not that hard to like pull it out of them. So yeah, once you are aware of it, like you feel it in the body somewhere, notice where you feel it, and then you can do other things to bring awareness to it as well, like rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. If 1 is not that intense, 10 is really intense, where is it at? You could even ask, like, does it have a size? You know, if you
Hmm.
feel it in your stomach, is it like just tiny little pebble in your stomach? Or, you know, when you feel anxious, it almost feels like butterflies taking up your entire stomach.
Hmm.
Like, just noticing, does it have a size? Does it have a texture? And the purpose of asking these questions is only for you to bring more awareness within
Hmm.
instead of being in your mind trying to analyze or just suppressing altogether, right? So this is just a way to get you out of resistance.
Hmm.
So the answer to the question doesn't matter at all. And eventually you won't even need to ask these questions. It'll just be as soon as you're triggered, where do I feel it in my body? Bring your awareness within. So that's the first step. And then the second step is breath, because you need to activate your parasympathetic nervous
Hmm.
system response, which is your rest and digest state. So you don't want to be breathing shallow breaths into your chest. You want to be breathing all the way down to your belly. If you soften your shoulders and start to imagine that there's like a red balloon in your stomach inflating with every inhale, deflating with every exhale, that will start to happen naturally because your body doesn't know the difference between the real and the imagined. So eventually the breath will start coming down to your belly. You'll be more in your rest and digest state. So you're activating self-healing, you're getting out of resistance. And then part C is conscious choice. So this is where I would say is the more masculine approach. Awareness and breath were more the feminine approach. Part C would be like um, choosing to relax your body, choosing to be at peace, choosing to be easier on yourself, choosing to look at the situation differently. Whatever you feel like you need in the moment to remind yourself of the thing that people normally do at the beginning to make themselves feel better, you're going to do it at the end.
Hmm.
Because if you do it at the beginning, then you're going to temporarily feel what you're feeling less. So you've suppressed it a little bit. So now it's harder to access. So you don't want to do part C at the beginning. You don't want to just start talking to yourself right away and being like, oh, everything's going to be okay because like I have a plan and it's all set up. And you know, like you don't want to do anything of that. At the end, you can remind yourself, okay, now that I'm feeling lighter, I can see that like this isn't actually like what I thought it was. And
Mm.
this is what's really happening here.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the fact that as I'm nodding, listening to you, because it brings together all of my training and all of my kind of things that I've looked at. So trauma informed, I did some trauma informed qualification, NLP, like there's a little bit of that in there as you're talking, somatic work. Yeah, so I love the fact that it's got it all there. And I've always said to every single client I've worked with, awareness is always the first step. Like
Mm.
you can't change what you don't know. And so I love the fact that you spend time there, but also you go really deep with that as well. Like there is, like you were talking about intensifying it, like actually really sitting with it. And I know from my kind of own experience with clients that can be really uncomfortable. So how do you navigate that with clients who are a bit like, whoa, this is not something I've done before?
Um, well, I've rarely ever got resistance, if I'm being honest, because by the time people come to me, they are in the same state I was in, where they've
Hmm.
tried everything else and nothing has worked. And they're at this point of surrender and they're like willing to try anything. And the emotions are already there. Like, and they usually start coming up anyways while we're talking, when they're just sharing with me what's going on with them. So then as soon as the emotion comes up, I just pause them right then and there while the emotion is coming up so that I don't really have to try to pull it out of them. Like it's already there. But then there's been the very rare time where I've had a client that is resistant to feeling what they're feeling. And
Mm.
I've noticed because as soon as I try to get them to drop into their body, they start trying to talk to me again. And they start trying to tell me more details. So, oh, I didn't tell you this part yet. I didn't tell you that part yet. And then they jump back into the mind. And so I just, need to call them out on it in a very gentle way, like,
Hmm.
hey, this is one of the ways you're in resistance. I'm not sure if you notice, but as soon as you even drop into your body, you immediately go back into your mind and do something to avoid the feeling. And normally with me, they're willing to drop in. Like maybe when they're on their own and all that kind of stuff, they're doing the suppressing thing, but I make sure that when they're with me, that they do at least welcome their emotions so that they leave the session having shifted their consciousness instead of me just telling them this is what you need to do, go do
Hmm.
it, right? Like I want them to have a shift right then and there. And normally when someone's there holding space for you, like they just feel so much more comfortable. And again, someone who wants to resist what they're feeling wouldn't even resonate with me. So like I think that doesn't really show up in my reality. They would just be going for a pill or something else. Like they wouldn't even be here. They would see my page and be like, no. That just doesn't happen.
I love that. And I love the fact that you talked about kind of people who don't want to feel those emotions. Like you said, they don't even realize that they're doing it. They don't even realize that they're actually going back into their head, that they're sort of kind of suppressing their body. And I'd be really interested to know that do you see in terms of your clients, do you see that they are a little bit more sensitive and that actually, because I always think that suppression goes so clearly with an overwhelmed nervous system, which we tend to have if we're more sensitive. So, do you see those types of people as clients?
Yeah, almost all of them I would say are like highly sensitive people, empaths, like whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Like that's pretty common that the more sensitive you are, the more likely you are to manifest an illness. And that's not because it's a punishment or anything like that. It's just because we're so sensitive, we feel things so deeply, and so it hurts more for us than it does for the average person. So we so badly don't want to feel it. So then we suppress it, and then it only turns into an illness to get our attention, right? Like it's because we're suppressing it so much, and the only thing that would get us to actually look within is like it's affecting our life in a massive way that now we're like, okay, I'm willing to feel this much pain. Like you have to have a big enough why and a big enough
Mhm.
reason.
Do you support clients with, I know you talk very clearly there about that support straight away, like you want them to have that shift within the session, but do
Mhm.
you support them long term? Like, do they kind of have those ups and downs where they come back to you, or is it just a one done kind of thing?
So I'm really big on people knowing the power they have within themselves so that they don't need to keep coming back to me because like when I first started doing this work, I noticed that I would like count down the days till my session with my mentor because I was like something was really bothering me and I didn't really know how to process it myself, so I'm just waiting,
Hmm.
right? And then I had an experience where I had literally just had a session with her, and then something really scary was happening in my life, and we only had sessions once a month.
Yeah.
And so now I was like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do, And so I felt so like powerless and
Hmm.
afraid and scared and because the problem was so big that it looked like there was nothing that I could do. I didn't even go into trying to solve the problem and take action because I couldn't even think of a single thing to do. So then I just went into the fear and the powerlessness because I was like, there's nothing else I can do other than just try to support myself through this scary time and just have compassion for myself. So then that's all I did. And then I could feel I wasn't scared anymore. And then so then the problem completely went away because I was no longer in the same consciousness as the problem. And so that experience had me know my power so fully and changed my entire life. So that's what I like to do for my clients is like, I want you to know how to do it on your own, but also I'm here for you if you find that there's certain things that are just so glitchy in your life and you can't see what you're doing. Like
Hmm.
you're trying it on your own, but you're not able to see how you're in resistance and you need support, then that's a nurturing thing to do for yourself is book another session once in a while, which sometimes they do. Um, but what I've done lately is I've actually created a membership program so that they have continuous support whenever they need it. Like it's like they have 24/7 access to me so that it's not just heal my illness, go back to my regular life.
Hmm.
It's there's always things you can be healing and expanding. So do you want to now heal your relationships? Do you want to expand your career? Do you want to receive more wealth? Do you want to be closer with your family? And then now we're working on more things, essentially.
I love that. I love that because you're absolutely right. I think there is such a power in empowering our clients to actually see that you've got everything you need within inside you. Like, let's show you how to do that. But on the flip side, I know that on the receiving end of that, it can feel quite scary to go, oh, I've got all of this power inside me, but I don't know what to do with it. Like, this is brand new for me. I don't know how to navigate it. So I love the fact that you've got that kind of membership that meets them in the middle almost. Does that feel true?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you have support whenever you need it, rather than like you just book a session when things are really bad,
Mm.
you know? So that's why I created it that way. It's like for people that want massive transformation. And honestly, even when you heal like one thing, you can't go back to being the old person,
Mhm.
because if you truly healed the illness, it means you shifted the root cause. So you're a different person. You think differently now, you act differently now, you feel differently now. So there's no way you could even go back to doing life the way that you were doing it before. But yeah, it's for people that are like, I want to heal everything that's not serving me.
Mhm.
That's who it's for.
Yeah, I can imagine that's quite addictive as well.
It is. Yeah, it's so interesting too to learn the root causes of like, where did this start? Why is this showing up my reality? Like, you learn so much about yourself, and I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. I always, yes, I'm not going to go off a side route, but yeah, I absolutely find it fascinating. And I love the fact, I'm just going to bring it back to what you said there as well, because I think this is a huge part of not, how do I want to word this? So I know that when people probably originally come to you, they've got to that point where they're just like, I've tried everything, I am done, like I need something that's really going to support me. But after that, I love the fact that you've got that kind of don't wait until it gets really bad again kind of energy. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be, let's not wait until everything's falling apart before you do something about it. Now you know what it feels. Let's get kind of involved or get it sorted before it gets to that stage. Does that feel true as well for the kind
Yeah,
of
it's very
support you have?
preventative.
Mm,
Yeah, which I noticed that not everyone is down for preventing. Like most people, it has to get really loud, especially if there's a cost involved too. People are like, why would I
mm,
book a session unless it's bothering me? You know what I mean? You have to have this like really true desire to like, I want to be 100% free. I
yeah.
don't want anything limiting me. I don't want anything holding me back, you know? So it's not for everyone, but for the people that really care about preventing, like I don't want to get a super scary illness.
Hmm.
I don't want to have to lose my job or have my relationship fall apart. And I want to prevent that from ever happening. Those are the only people that would resonate with this kind of work, I would find.
Yeah. And how has it kind of transformed your life? Because obviously in a world absolutely huge. You've gone from being incredibly depressed and very overwhelmed in terms of nervous system to supporting other people doing this work. And you can't see Alicia, but she is glowing and she's like, she looks beautiful. So how has that kind of worked for you, and how do you feel now when you look back at where you were?
Yeah, I would say I'm so different. Like the way I see life is completely different. It's like I see everything as it's happening for me, right? So I take full responsibility for everything that shows up in my reality, which in itself is like so empowering. So
Mm.
I never go into like victim mode if something happens in my life. Like I welcome what it makes me feel. I don't ever suppress it or anything like that. But then there's also this part of me that knows, okay, I'm creating the problem through my state of consciousness. So if I shift my consciousness, I know the problem goes away every single time. So it's like the way I look at life and the way I solve problems is so fluid, it's so effortless. So I honor my body now in a way that like I don't know hardly anyone that honors their body as much as I do. Like I don't ever buy in to the fact that you have to do anything.
Mm.
Anything that you think you have to do, I promise you I don't do it. And I know that you don't have to. And I really don't do anything that feels glitchy, heavy, forced, efforting. Like I honor my body. And because of that, everyone benefits in my life. Like when you honor yourself, everyone benefits. When you don't honor yourself, it doesn't actually help the people around you. It doesn't help your clients, doesn't help your family. So yeah, my relationships are totally different now. Like I used to have like a lot of drama with my family and things like that. And now I have a very peaceful relationship with all of my family members, which I never ever thought I would have because they, a lot of them have narcissistic qualities and like lots of things that you think can't be healed and your life can never change and you have to deal with this forever. That's so not true. When you're doing the healing work, everything in your reality changes. So the way my family treats me is completely different, even if they're not doing any healing work. And obviously, my physical and emotional health is like obviously better. And every day I find a new thing that's healed that I didn't know was healed, if that makes sense. Like, I'm a dancer. And so I noticed recently we did like a halftime performance. And right before we have practice like every day, and like, everyone's bodies are so sore. And like, right before, like, everyone's like, I can't even dance, I can't even do the dance like one more time, and then it was like when we should be practicing the most they couldn't because their bodies were sore.
Mm.
And I remember, I'm like, that used to be me. Every time I would do a dance competition I would be in so much pain the week before, but now that doesn't happen to me anymore. It's just like there's strength, there's resilience. I think it's also because I've healed so much that I'm in this energy where it's very natural for me to do loving and nurturing things for myself. So the way I guess take care of my body is different than the way the other people on my team take care of their body. They're not stretching, they're not hydrating, they're not, all these types of things. So the way I eat now is totally different. Like, I used to eat fast food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and now eat so healthy. Um, my career is totally different, right? Like we said, engineering to having my own business, having more wealth than I could ever need, not ever having to worry about money. And I do that by honoring myself and not ever having to abandon myself. So yeah, every area of my life is different. And the way I do life is like so different.
Wow, that is such an inspiring story. And I,
Thanks.
listening to you as well, I got the image. You know, when people say, and this is going to sound a bit morbid, but bear with me, when people say when you're going to a crash, they say, try not to tense your body because you're going to hurt yourself more.
Mm.
And as you were talking there, I was like, isn't it interesting that you were talking about being more open and kind of honoring your body? And I bet, I mean, I don't know, but I would imagine that that means that you are generally more relaxed. Your muscles physically in your physical body are more relaxed and not as tense. And I wonder if that has just a general impact on your overall health and how you feel in your body as well.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I'm not in this like contraction, super
Mm,
tight, urgency energy, like
mm.
hardly ever.
Yeah, like that hypervigilance. I know that
Yeah.
that runs really quite highly with a lot of my clients, for example, highly sensitive. We're always looking for like, what's going on? What's gone wrong? And it's so lovely to have the fact that number one, we don't have to be like that. And number two, like the flip side of what it feels like when we are in that more relaxed state for what I would imagine you, it's 99% of the time.
Yeah, honestly, it is. Like, and if I ever notice myself doing things out of urgency or fear or whatever, I immediately am like, okay, I need like a reset.
Mm,
So I'll be like, okay, for this entire week, bare minimum for the next week, I'm going to drop in more than I normally do. Because I already do always presence what I'm feeling, but I'm like, I'm going to do it even more than and usual. Because my mentor always used to have this saying that chaos never needs your attention. Chaos is a sign that stillness needs your attention. So, meaning the more urgency you're feeling, or chaos is showing up in your life, the more you need to presence and
mm,
drop in, even though you think you have no time and this needs your attention. It does
mhm,
not need your attention. The way to solve it truly at the root and have it be resolved in a way that's more effortless than you could even imagine is to go within.
mhm. That resonates with me because I remember when I first started my journey, around about 2016, something like that. I remember I just used to feel this need and this urge to slow down, like in all the ways, slow down with my voice, slow down with my movement, slow down with just like my energy. And I just remember thinking, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do those. But it was this urge that just wouldn't go away. And it's so interesting you say that because, like you said, chaos, but actually what you need is that stillness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. For anyone that says they don't have time, I feel like you create time. So like if you can even create like a minute more of time for yourself, then more time opens up for you.
Hmm.
But it has to be a priority for you to even give yourself that minute. Like
Hmm.
you wake up a minute earlier than you normally do to presence your emotions. Like literally when I wake up in the morning, I only do it for like a minute. I honestly feel like because I'm not triggered. If I was triggered, I'd sit with it longer.
Hmm.
But like it usually takes just like a minute to do that ABC tool that I told you. Okay, hey body, how you feeling? Where do I feel it? Take at least 3 deep breaths, make a conscious choice. That took me a minute, you know? So you could choose to wake up a minute before. You could choose like when every time you go to the bathroom,
Hmm.
I'm gonna presence what I'm feeling. You could choose every time you're waiting for something, like you're waiting for an app to download on your phone, you're waiting, you ordered a coffee and you're waiting in line, you're a minute early for a meeting, you know, like there's always things you can do. It just has to be a priority for you.
Hmm. Yeah, I love the idea of habit stacking as well, like
Mhm.
stacking a new habit onto an existing one because then you're more likely to remember it. So I love the fact that like go to the toilet or clean. I used to use like cleaning your teeth, like anything that you already do that you can kind
Mhm.
of almost hijack,
Yes.
just to kind of remind yourself like, oh yes, this is a time that I do this. So I love the fact that you've kind of just spoken about just a snippet of time, and it really is like you said, it just starts off with that snippet of time, doesn't it?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I like to do it like right after I watch an episode of TV too, because I'm already on the couch and I'm already relaxed. So it's so much easier to drop in rather when you're really busy and then you're like, I don't feel like dropping in when I'm like in the middle of
Hmm.
accomplishing something. So then do it when it's a time that's easier for you then, you know, or set an alarm on your phone. I still have an alarm on my phone that goes off once a day, reminding me during the day so that no matter what I'm doing, even if I'm just talking to someone out for dinner with them or I'm doing work, I will still at least try to bring some presence and awareness to what I'm feeling, even while I'm doing other things. Because that's important to learn as well, that because you are going to interact with people all the time. And sometimes it's hard to be like, oh, I need time alone to go process what I'm feeling. So it's great to be also be able to process it in front of other people.
Yes, super, super powerful. And if the listeners, if you would like them to take one thing away from this conversation today, what would it be?
That the one thing that's going to change your life is to go more within
Hmm.
and welcome what you're feeling, and your body already knows how to dissolve it. So you don't need to get confused on the how and the what and whatever. It's just, again, if you're bringing more awareness and you're doing it with like compassion and curiosity and like truly trying to give love to the part of you that's upset, like love and awareness is what dissolves everything that doesn't align with you. And that's where your power really lies.
I love that. And it's brought up just, and it's something I think we've discussed around, but probably haven't made it really explicit, which is just the power that when you're working with the body, your brain isn't involved. And so you don't have the cognitive ability to always verbalize what's going on, which I
Mhm.
know could be really tough for a lot of people, especially if you spent so much time in your head. And I just wonder, has that been, like you were talking earlier about the person that when they started dropping into their body, they started talking because they were trying
Yeah.
to go back into their head. I just wonder what your take on that is.
Yeah, so I would say you do not need to identify the emotion or put a word to it or verbalize it. In fact, like you're probably not even going to get it right. Like it doesn't matter if I'm feeling powerlessness, but I'm calling it fear. Like
Mm.
whatever, who cares? Don't ever even try to verbalize it or understand it because reason is actually below love on the human scale of consciousness. You can look up the human scale of consciousness if you've never heard of it. But essentially, if you need to understand something first, or if you're staying in your mind, you don't access love, and love is your natural state, and that's where the healing happens naturally. So anytime you find yourself doing that, just remind yourself, oh, this is blocking love.
Hmm.
And
Ooh,
then maybe you'll be more willing to soften around that.
that's powerful. Blocking love. Yes, I've not heard it
Mhm.
sort of verbalized like that, but that's powerful because then it really does go. Oh yeah, I need to switch off the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So, how do you work with people? Do you work one to one? I know you were talking about the membership earlier, but how can people work with you?
Yeah, so the membership is my main way to help people because that doesn't only involve mind body medicine, it also involves theta healing, which we didn't really talk about that much today, but essentially that's reprogramming your subconscious mind, similar to hypnosis, but with no guesswork, which is why I love it. So that's what they get in the session is like 20, or in the membership is like 24/7 access to me. And then they also get these theta healing sessions where they do really deep healing work. So that's why I created it that way. But then people also have the option to just work with me privately or even just take one of my DIY courses Or if you want to watch my free content, like I have a YouTube channel, I'm on Instagram. I do have a free version of that ABC tool that we talked about. So if anyone wants to download that to start processing their emotions, that's on my website. That's on my Instagram. It's called 3 Ways to Raise Your Vibration Fast. So people could just start with that. Like we said earlier, the power is within you. And so even just practicing with that and noticing that, oh, I actually like instantly feel lighter when I do this. That might be enough for you. But if you want more support and you want to work with someone who can instantly feel how you're in resistance, then yeah, there's lots of different ways you can work with me. And you can find that on my website, alishakapani.com. Find me on social media, Alisha_Kapani.
Oh, that's amazing. And I love the free resource as well, because it gives somebody who's really interested in this work just an easy in, isn't it? It's just go and download it, see how it feels, see what you get out of it. And then there's obviously that option to work with you if they want to. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. This is a lovely conversation, and I think an important one. I'm going to take away just kind of remembering the importance of body work. I think we really, in this society as well, in Western society, we really do, I feel, prioritize the mind and how we process things, the analytical brain. We kind of just think that that's it, the sort of really, really important part, and we forget the actual body work. So that's one thing I'm going to take away. Is there anything else you would like to sort of cover or say before we wrap up?
Just that you're correct in the fact that we store emotions in the body physically. So that has to be addressed. But it is true, though, if you're actually changing the belief, like you literally pull it and replace it with a new one, you don't actually carry the same emotions or energy anymore. So it's true that works, but not if you're just talking to yourself. That wasn't a full program reset. So yeah, that's why it's mind, body, medicine. It's both. Like you do need both.
Yeah. I always remember talking about affirmations, because I have a love-hate relationship with them. And I'm like, they're great if they actually mean something. But if they don't mean anything to you, if they're not accessing something on a deeper level, they're just words. And your subconscious will say, well, this is rubbish. Why am I listening to this?
Yeah, they won't land. They won't stick. I find that if I do the A and B and then I listen to affirmations, then they stick more, because I dissolved like a little bit of like what was in the way and like wasn't willing to let this in. And now I can bring them in and be more receptive.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. I love this conversation. I'm hoping that the listeners have got something out of it too. And please, if you're listening, do go and check Alisha out. Do go and download that free resource. I think it's super helpful and such a lovely thing to be able to give people. So thank you so much, Alisha.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I'll be back soon with another episode. I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for choosing to listen to this week's podcast with me, Kate Carter. I appreciate you so much. If you enjoyed this show, then please leave a review. Every month I will pick a winner for a free 50-minute coaching session with me. Also, if you know someone who could benefit from listening to this podcast, then please share and help me reach more new entrepreneurs who could benefit from learning their own small steps to take.